Hello, everybody. It's John from the 30-something movie podcast. You're noticing no intro music this time around. I wanted to jump in real quick because we're going to do something a little bit different. Between illness and family and stuff and travel, life has been a little crazy lately. And all of us that host the podcast, we're teachers, so we're kind of, summer schedules are kind of all over the place. That's also thrown off our recording schedule for the podcast just a bit. And as you might be able to tell from my voice, I still have a little bit of a cold left over from getting back from a trip that we went on. But we don't want you to miss out on great movies. So here's a compromise for you. We're going to be pulling a Patreon exclusive episode that we did several years ago out of the vault. In fact, our very first one that we did, and sharing it with the masses. So you get this one for free. This one, though, is in honor of our very first Patreon member, Padraig from Ireland. I got the chance to finally meet our good friend in person while on vacation with my wife in Ireland, and we had a great time. So naturally, when I had to decide, which episode am I going to pull from the Patreon feed, Padraig's first recommendation for us came to mind all the way back from 2020. So thank you, Padraig, for your support over the years. Thank you for the Guinness. Really enjoyed getting to sit down and talk with you and share a pint with you. And I hope everyone else enjoys this review of Brewster's Millions that we did all the way back in 2020.
Fasten your seatbelt. I am taking you for the ride of your life. I'm going to show you what this car can really do. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Hang on.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hold on to your butts.
Go get him, kid.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Not a tumor at all.
F? What you're gonna ask me. So you can go ahead and ask me what you're gonna ask me, and my natural response could be to get offended.
Hey, wanna hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
All right.
You're listening to the 30-something movie podcast. One movie each week, 30 years in the making. It's the 30-something movie podcast, After Dark. You're joined tonight by your host. That's kind of a boring way to start our first Patreon exclusive.
This is the Patreon exclusive.
Yeah. I mean, this is the members only deal, and I was starting it off like it's an episode of Delilah.
We got to fire it up somehow.
Yeah.
Good morning, 37 Movie Podcast. Got to work on the rhythm.
It doesn't quite roll off the tongue with it. Yeah.
Good morning, podcast listeners. No?
Yeah, it might work.
We could workshop that a little bit.
Good morning, pod. Nah, I don't know.
Pod people. That's different.
Pod people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pod people are different.
The pod people.
Okay, that could work, though. I'm fine with that. Well, as you have heard, we've been trying to workshop, while you're listening, we are trying to workshop how do we open up this very exclusive, members-only Patreon podcast for you.
Like opening a can of awesome. You got to do it the right way.
Absolutely. Speaking of a can of awesome, I have Bo. I have Pat. Guys, how's it going?
Good, John. How are you?
Doing all right, John. How are you?
Doing all right. I did have to pick on my son the other day. He had, I think he was outside, and I've already told him before, I'm like, you know what? If we are on the same premises, you do not text me. Like, do not text me at all. And so he had texted me because he does not like when he does on the very rare occasions, sometimes when we let them have pop or something like that, here at home, because we're a little, we got some rules about that kind of thing. Try to keep it a little healthier. But sure. he texts me when he's outside, and he knows dinner is coming up soon, and he's like, can you give me a Diet Coke in the can? I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not answering a text message when you are literally, if I look out the window, I can see you playing basketball in the driveway. I'm not answering a text message when you are less than 40 feet away. And so what I wanted to do instead, I didn't end up doing this, but what I wanted to do instead was I wanted to be like, okay, sure, I can get you a Diet Coke in the can, because as soon as he came inside, he then went to the bathroom to go wash his hands for dinner. I thought of like sneaking in the door and just dropping a little Diet Coke in the corner of the bathroom. And like, there you go. You're in the can. Here's your Diet Coke.
I like it.
Yeah. I might do that next time.
I think you should.
Next time the child texts me from 30 feet away.
Yeah. That's not. Yeah,
Darn kids.
Are you guys, how are you with like yelling in the house? Like if someone's in the other end of the house, do you walk up and say, hey, which way? How do you,
If I've got to kind of yell down the stairs just to get somebody's attention, the nice thing is we live in a small house, so it doesn't even really require that much yelling.
Gotcha.
I don't have to raise the voice too much, but, if I do, and I'm not a quiet person. Like sure, at some point in time, you've heard my teacher voice. There's a person that we work with, Mackenzie is his last name. And it's Pat, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He has difficulty controlling the volume of his voice sometimes. I actually scared him one day when I had to use my teacher voice with some students. So it's not like I have a quiet teacher voice, but that's when we have a problem at home, when I've had to yell up the stairs to my son and be like, hey, it's time for dinner. Come on down, wash your hands. And then I have to do that like 2, maybe 3 times. And at that point, I've done it, 4 times too many. And so when he does finally come down and say, I didn't hear you. Like, wait, pardon me? Mm-hmm. You didn't hear me. I'm sorry. Was I using my dainty quiet voice? You didn't hear me. The next door neighbor heard me.
The next door neighbor is knocking on the door with his dish to pass.
Right. Next door neighbor's like, oh, my hands are washed. I'm sitting down. I'm ready. I'm sorry.
Man,
I'm sorry. I'll
funny.
do it faster next time. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So don't pretend you didn't hear me, and don't text me from 15 feet away.
That's right.
Yeah. We're not here to talk about parenting.
No.
We're here tonight to spend some money.
Spend some money.
I didn't even think about that. I don't know if that's the ironic choice that the people who are supporting us financially, this is the first episode where we talk about spending money.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't pick it for that reason.
But it works.
It works out fine. No, actually, this one, I think this one was suggested by Podrick. So,
all right.
He had suggested a couple of them. He's, of course, we did his listener choice episode before, was the Mr. Destiny. And so he had said, your listener's choice one, we kind of had specified that we'd like that one to be a movie from the same year that we're in. But he's like, hey, if you do any others, Brewster's Millions, this is another great one. And cool. I will admit right up front, I had not seen this movie. Like I knew of it, but I had not seen it.
I knew of it, and I would have sworn I had seen it.
Okay.
But after about 10 minutes, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And you know what? Before we jump too far into it, I one thing I will say is, except for a little bit of language here and there, I probably wouldn't have too much of a problem showing this to the kids.
No, it seemed. I didn't remember thinking.
Yeah, for the most part, it's pretty. There's a couple little maybe risque conversations here and there, but for the most, especially for a Richard Pryor movie, it's remarkably clean.
That's true. When you put it in that context, I suppose you are correct, sir.
Yeah.
So, so I had not seen this one before. So this was a great one. Excited for this one to be one of our first ones that we do as part of the kind of the members only podcast for those that are supporting us through Patreon. So obviously I don't have to sell that to anybody who's on here to support us because if you're here, you're listening, you're already doing that. So we just want to say thank you so much for supporting the show. We say this all the time. We love doing it. We kind of this is our way to just have some fun, talk some movies. And we're always excited when we've got people that want to just, listen and join in the conversation with us. We've said that before, that we almost don't even think of like having listeners. We think of just like having other friends we haven't had a chance to talk to yet. So, So we would love to hear, from those of you that are here and getting this members only podcast. Feel free, leave us a voicemail. If you want to hop onto our website, there's a nice, easy way on our website now to leave us a voicemail. We'd love to have, some of that kind of back and forth conversation about some of these movies. So please feel free. And, this one being our first of the Patreon exclusive ones, we might do these episodes a little bit different on down the line in the future. This one may have kind of the same typical layout that we do for our other episodes, but kind of as we get going and do some more of these, we're going to do one each month. So might have a slightly different format going forward. If you have any suggestions, any thoughts on that, we'd love to hear that too. So this is kind of new territory for us. So we are happy to continue evolving it and making it even better for you all. So just thank you again for supporting us and for being here, and let's talk some movies.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, this one is Brewster's Millions. It came out on the 22nd of May, 1985, rated PG. It was directed by Walter Hill, produced by Lawrence Gordon and Joel Silver, written by George Barr McCutcheon, who did the novel, and Herschel Weingrod and Timothy Harris, who did the screenplay and the story. Rick Waite was cinematographer. Music was done by Ry Cooder. The budget was $20 million. The box office was $45.8 million. Flick Metrics gives this one a 57%, so a little bit of a lower score for the Flick Metrics there. Cinema Score, there was not a score on Cinema Score for this one. Richard Pryor, who died in 2005. I didn't realize it had already been 2005.
Wow. Yeah, no kidding.
Like, for some reason, when Sharon, we were watching this movie together, and she asked me, she's like, is he still alive? And I said, no, he's not still alive, but I think he died maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I didn't realize it had already been 15 years since he'd passed away.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No. He played Montgomery Brewster. He was also in Superman 3 and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Superman 3, one of my favorite scenes in any Superman movie is that whole, so much of it as a kid. Like, I loved Richard Pryor's character in that movie. He was just so funny in Superman 3. But that fight between Superman and Clark Kent in the junkyard.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite scenes of any Superman movie growing up. I thought that part was great, but loved Richard Pryor in that movie. John Candy, who died in 1994, way too early when he passed away. There would have been so many more great movies with him in them if he had not passed in 94. But he played Spike Nolan. He was Uncle Buck in Spaceballs. Lonette McKee played Angela Drake. She was in Jungle Fever and Malcolm X. Stephen Collins played Warren Cox. He was in Star Trek The Motion Picture and Seventh Heaven. Jerry Orbach played Charlie Pegler. He was in Law & Order and Dirty Dancing. Pat Hingle played Edward Roundfield. He was in Batman and Hang 'em High. Tova Feldsha played Marilyn. She was in The Walking Dead and Lady in the Water. Hume Cronin, who died in 2003, played Rupert Horn. He was in Cocoon and Shadow of a Doubt. Joe Grafassi played J.B. Donaldo. He was in Presumed Innocent and Natural Born Killers. Peter Jason played Chuck Fleming. He was in 48 Hours and They Live. David White, who died in 1990, played George Granville. He was in Bewitched and The Twilight Zone. And Jerome Dempsey, who died in 1998, played Norris Baxter. He was in Network and The Hudsucker Proxy. After losing his position as a minor league pitcher, Montgomery Brewster, played by Richard Pryor, learns his great uncle has left him $300 million. To inherit it, Brewster must spend $30 million in 30 days under a complicated set of rules that forbid him from donating too much to charity or retaining any new assets when the period is up. Unable to share details about the will's odd conditions with anyone, Brewster sets out to spend his money under the stern eye of paralegal Angela Drake, played by Lonette McKee.
Money. Everyone wants it. Until now, Monty Brewster didn't have it.
They tell me you're my only living relative.
But he just made money the old-fashioned way.
You have 30 days in which to spend $30 million.
He inherited it.
If you can do it, you get $300 million. But if you fail, you don't get diddly.
Why can't I tell my friends?
Because I don't want anybody to help me out.
What's wrong? Mike, what's wrong? $30 million. Maybe he's got $30 million given to him. This is a good day, you know.
He can't keep it unless he can spend it and have nothing left but the shirt on his back.
Well, we're going to have a lot of fun with this kind of money.
Jake, I'd like to hire
hire you as my official photographer. Salary $10,000 a week.
How would you like to be my personal driver for the next 30 days at $5,000 a week?
What a country. America, love it.
Hey, everybody, anybody want to go to lunch?
Everyone thinks he's crazy.
I want to bet $50,000. It went up. We'll sell it.
I think we should consider the possibility of psychiatric help.
At the rate you're going, you'll have spent your entire inheritance in less than a month, and you'll have nothing to show for it.
But $300 million says he's right on the money. Richard Pryor and John Candy.
It's like that old saying, you know, if I for money, I'd be a millionaire. I'm a millionaire.
Brewster's Millions. Coming soon from Universal Pictures.
All right, so this one, I'm going to start off by saying I had not seen I know we talked about this kind of on the onset. I had not seen this one before. You know, this is one, Richard Pryor, John Candy. I mean, there's a lot of great actors in this movie, and it's just one that I had seen, and I've said this before, I'd seen the VHS cover. Like, I knew that one. You know, we got him jumping out of the pile of money and John Candy there off to the side. I've seen that one before, but had never actually watched through this movie. And just kind of initial reaction to this movie, it was a lot of fun. You know, it was and I'm surprised I hadn't seen this because I know there were several different movies that Richard Pryor was in that my dad loved. And this one actually was clean enough for me to have watched it as a kid. So I'm a little bit surprised that we had not seen this one at some point. So I don't know if maybe it was one that my dad wasn't familiar with. I don't know. But, no, had a lot of fun with it. I will share, you know, before you guys jump in, I will share real quick. And I understand it too, because sometimes it can kind of get that way. My wife's initial reaction to it was, you know, she kind of liked the story of it. She was curious to find out more about the other adaptations that they had done, like the original novel and some of the other, like the older 1945 version and that kind of stuff. She just said it was a little loud and frantic. I was like, that kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
I think it's a combination of it's a Richard Pryor movie and Walter Hill. Having done 48 Hours, I always think of 48 Hours as being kind of a little frantic in its storytelling as well. So that did not surprise me that was kind of her reaction. And I had the same reaction to it too, but I think I kind of, having seen a couple of other Richard Pryor movies as well, I kind of had a little bit more of a heads up that that's kind of what it was going to be like.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So what about you guys? Seen it before? Initial reactions?
First time seeing it for myself, and initial reaction was, I liked it. It was fun. Fun movie. And, you know, I don't know how much the plot was super inventive and, oh, wow. Or I think it was just, you had Richard Pryor and John Candy, and it was just fun watching them go. So I kind of, I liked it. I thought it was definitely an entertaining movie, and glad I saw it. Probably I'll watch it again at some point. You know, at some point in my life, I'm sure I'll see this again, and you know, that'll be great. But yeah, fun movie.
Agreed. It was great. I really thought I had seen it, but hadn't. Would see it again in a heartbeat. It was very fun. I enjoy Richard Pryor. John Candy was great. I loved it. Guy bought a minor league baseball team. How can you go wrong?
Yeah. Well, that was part of the fun of like the beginning of the movie when they've, you know, you've got the baseball game and they've got the train going through the middle of the baseball field. Yeah, which actually seems kind of absurd until I looked it up, and apparently in some of the Texas leagues, you actually had several fields where a train went through the field.
That's crazy.
So apparently there are real fields where this was an occurrence, where like back in the long time ago, that you might have to pause the game so a train can go through.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty unbelievable to think about.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting about this before we start talking really kind of about the plot of the movie was I did not realize that this was a remake. You know, I didn't really know anything about the earlier versions of it. And as I looked into it, I would be curious. I didn't find, I tried to look this up real quick, but couldn't really find out which one it might be. I was curious as to like what one book has been adapted into the most film versions. Because when I looked up this one, I was like, oh yeah, there's a 1945 Brewster's Millions. That might be kind of fun to, you know, to go find at some point. And then as I kept looking, I was like, well, wait a minute. There's also a 1914 version. There's a 1921 version. There's a 1926 version. There are two or three Indian language versions. There was another one, a stage adaptation, a musical adaptation. So I'm looking at this, I'm going, there's a crazy number of adaptations for this one book that was written in like 1902.
Mm-hmm.
So that got me thinking. I'm like, I wonder what book has had the most film or stage or whatever adaptations.
Okay. The
one thing I found right away is like a bunch of people said, well, Stephen King, like 50 of his books have had some sort of like TV or movie adaptation. Like, yeah. But that's like 50 different books. Or there's been 50 different adaptations of multiple books of his, but we're talking one book. Like this is Brewster's Millions, one book. I would be curious to know. I was not able to find, what one book, a definitive answer for what one book had been adapted the most. But if anybody knows, if anybody's listening, anybody knows the answer to that, I would be curious to know. Because the more having not seen this movie, I was like, I did not realize that whatever, the book this was based off of had been adapted that many times.
Right.
So I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah. That is a cool, and I'm curious of the same, I'm curious of the same thing. Which one story, man, hiccups. Sorry.
Yeah. Pat, have you been drinking?
I have been drinking.
Okay.
No.
Well, this is 30 something podcast after dark.
It is after dark.
We're a lot more 30 something or
I'm
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I am consuming H2O. H2O only. H2O only.
Okay.
I wonder if
the fire water. You're not consuming the fire water.
Not the fire water.
Okay.
Bo, what's the Christmas Carol? I wonder if A Christmas Carol is up there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Because there are a ton of adaptations. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially when the hard part about putting that together is like you've got to look up Christmas Carol, Scrooge. There's so many different permutations. God, that would be a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another one somebody brought up, I was looking on some different message boards, is War of the Worlds. That's had a bunch of different adaptations. Christmas Carol's probably not a bad guess though.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they had a version of the Christmas Carol probably come out like once every year for the last century.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I found something that might answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
And this is a little loose, but they're saying Dracula by Bram Stoker is at 62 plus.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Let me see what parameters they used, because that seems high, but.
Are you looking at the Screen Rant article?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what I bet they're doing is I bet they're taking any movie that has the character of Dracula.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's not exactly what we're.
Yeah, because that's not.
So War of the Worlds is a good one for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here, Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. They're saying it's 50 plus.
Well, here's one that mentions A Christmas Carol. This is not very factual, though.
This is 49 plus.
Oh, wait, where did we get? Here we go. Top 10 most adapted novels. This is entertainmentfuse.com.
Okay.
Oh, that was a link from somewhere else, and the link appears to be dead. That's too bad. Apparently there was an article.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes is an interesting one, though, because they're being very broad with that. And if you really want to go with a single novel,
right,
that's kind of hard.
But
I think that's why it's so hard to get this.
Yeah.
Is there's no. That's a tough thing to lock down.
Hamlet by William Shakespeare 31 plus times.
Yeah.
That'd be another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of Shakespeare's really, I mean, because there's so like, I mean, 10 Things I Hate About You is based on Taming of the Shrew.
Right.
Right.
So all of a sudden you have, there's such a large, such a large pool to pull from.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I know. That just made me think of.
There'd be a way to get that number, but everything I look at makes it pretty hard.
Yeah.
The only one I found that sounded like what we were looking for, of course, the link that they were referring to for the background information is to a dead website now. But the one I did find did say A Christmas Carol.
Okay. All right.
Which is logically, because you're right. I mean, I think of every major English actor has played either Bob Cratchit or Ebenezer Scrooge.
Okay.
Right.
Some have played both. You know, it's just one of those things you do.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch as Bob Cratchit. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
They got Benedict Cumberbatch as Bob Cratchit?
No, but I'm saying like.
Okay, I was going to say that would be interesting.
He's got to be next, right?
Yeah.
Richard Pryor as Ebenezer Scrooge.
I'm in.
Oh, that'd be a good one. All right. Yeah, so for this movie, Monty Brewster is a minor league baseball pitcher playing for the Hackensack Bulls. He claims, as far as we know, that he played for the Cubs for a while. And maybe the dubious distinction is they were the only team smart enough to hire him. I don't know whether or not that's a dig at the Cubs. I kind of think it is.
It might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
So they lose their game, and they get into a little bit of a bar fight. And I believe, if I remember looking this up, I believe that the bar they end up fighting at, is it? I don't think it's the same bar. Is it the same bar? Well, it's called Torchy's, and that's the same bar where Eddie Murphy got into the fight in 48 Hours.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's the same bar, like same set, but it's same name is there. So, but they get into a bit of a bar fight. They end up getting thrown in jail, and the team is pretty much done with both of them. With both John Candy and Richard Pryor, they're not going to pay for their bail. They're not going to pay to get them out at all. They're not going to pay any of the penalties and fines. They're pretty much just done. So Monty and Spike sitting in jail until they get bailed out by a complete stranger during their court scene, which I love. John Candy says, like, I've been in situations like this before. Let me just handle this.
Yeah.
Your Honor, it's just so silly. It's just so funny in perfect, John Candy fashion. He's trying to charm his way through it, and this judge will have none of it. And then they miraculously get bailed out. They get driven to New York City, and of course, it's funny. Richard Pryor's there the whole time. He's like, "We're going to the Mets. We're going to the Mets." They get there. It's like, it's not the Mets. It's the Yankees. No, it's not the Mets or the Yankees. And so then he finds out that he has this great uncle that has left him a large sum of money. But there are some very, very strange rules that he has to follow in order to win this $300 million fortune. Now, I think one of the biggest differences between one of the early adaptations, I think in the 1945 version, he is a soldier that is returned from war as opposed to being a baseball player. And I think that the grand total that he is able to inherit in the 1945 version is $8 million. So just a small amount of inflation from 1945 to 1985.
All right.
So he can choose to receive either $1 million at the very beginning of this and just go about his way. and take that $1 million, or he can try to inherit the entire estate. But the rule is he's got to spend $30 million in 30 days. He can have nothing to show for it by the end of it. He has to be penniless by the end with no assets to show for it. He can only give a certain amount to charity. He's got percentages, he can only do like 5% to charity and 5% by gambling. And he can't really give it away. And, he has to have, I think you have to have value for your investment. You have to get some value out of this.
Right.
You can't waste it by buying expensive things and then destroying them. And he can't tell anyone. So that's part of the whole thing too, is that he cannot explain to anyone why he is wasting this money in this way, why he's buying stuff, and then, why he doesn't want any of the money. So he decides he's going to go for it. He's going to try to do the challenge by spending the $30 million in 30 days to see if he can get the $300 million. He gets introduced to the person that's going to be kind of following him around and checking his receipts, which would be Angela Drake, a paralegal from the law firm. And I think he decides pretty quickly that she looks nice. So I think he's automatically interested in her. Unfortunately for him, that she is engaged to one of the, I don't think he's quite a partner yet in the firm, but he is a lawyer for the firm. And so that's a little bit of a complication, but obviously Monty is okay with trying to work around that. So he starts off, and I love those early scenes when he's got the money, and he starts off. I love that one scene where he just looks at the security guards at the bank. He's like, "What do you make here?" He's like, "I'm gonna need somebody to like guard me and like take this money and carry it. And what do you make here? I'm gonna pay you this much." And he just like starts listing off money. He's like, how do you want to be my driver for like the next 3 weeks? I'm gonna pay you this much. Which the taxi driver, a very young Yakov Smirnoff.
Yes.
So it was always fun to see him, and I recognized him right away.
I love this country.
Recognized him right away because my family, a big chunk of my family lives in Southwest Missouri. And the Yakov Smirnoff Theater in Branson has been a staple for many decades. And oddly enough, the fact that we have this movie that mixes baseball with an appearance by Yakov Smirnoff, my son John, when he was a little guy, maybe, 3 or 4, on the exact same day, he got taken to his first baseball game in Springfield, Missouri. It was kind of a minor league team in Springfield, Missouri. And we went to Yakov Smirnoff's Russian Circus in Branson, Missouri.
Oh, jeez.
On the same day. So it was an eventful day. We got to see juggling bears and Springfield Cardinals baseball game.
Well, that's awesome.
So yes, I spent many years seeing many billboards with Yakov Smirnoff's face on them, and how much he loves this country.
I love this country.
That might be the only thing I've ever heard him say.
Oh, you've never seen his stand-up?
No.
Oh, John.
Is it good stuff?
It's a little dated now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's everything about Branson, Missouri is dated. So.
But when I first saw it, it was something else.
Okay, because he did some of his. I mean, he did some kind of stand-up type stuff in the Russian circus show that we saw. But obviously, that wasn't the whole thing.
Yeah, gosh, my dad had them on VHS tape.
Okay.
Like that's what we're talking about.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to figure that out.
See if I can track some of those down.
Yeah, because that stuff's good.
I guarantee it's on YouTube somewhere.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be worth it even just to kind of start putting it into the Google and just finding little clips of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's floating around out there.
Yakov Smirnoff stand-up. Bunch of YouTube hits right off the top. Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
I think we've built Pat's rabbit hole for the day.
Okay.
Lower decks and Yakov Smirnoff.
There it is.
And I love the different ways that he is trying to spend money here. And, just obviously a movie like this does not take itself seriously at all. and just that he's having fun with it. And, you know, I couldn't tell if at the beginning of the movie, I couldn't tell if he knew that the opposing lawyers really wanted him to fail. Like there were certain things that he did that if he knew that they wanted him to fail so that they could get the money, then it was a very clever backhanded way of him kind of getting back at them. Or it was just innocently funny. And I don't know which one it was, and I don't really care because it worked out either way. I think that's one of the things this movie did well. The example in particular is him buying that stamp.
Mm-hmm.
When he buys the inverted Jenny stamp, and it's, what does he end up spending on it? It was like 1.5 million or something, 1.2 million, whatever it was on this stamp. And then he sends him a postcard.
Yeah.
And just the look on their face when he's looking at the postcard, he's like, look at this. It's a postcard. And this guy's he mailed the stamp.
Yeah.
He mailed the stamp. And you can tell, awesome. Like, as soon as they start going through the mail, I'm like, oh, I bet he mailed the stamp, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bought the stamp and he mailed the stamp. Nicely done. That's excellent.
There it is.
Nicely done.
I have to confess, I was confused with the rules a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like
they were a little. I think that was on purpose. I think it was if we throw a ton of rules at them.
Yeah,
it would have to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when Kirk taught the aliens to play Fizbin in A Piece of Your Action in the original series. It was like the rules kept kind of folding in on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can only spend 1% on charity, so you can't say, okay, I'm going to take all 30 million and give it to charity.
Right.
But you couldn't give it to your family either, right? It couldn't just be, okay, there's dad's cut, there's mom's cut, there's brother's cut, right?
He couldn't. It was 5% on charity, 5% lost by gambling. He couldn't give any of it away. Like it had to be used for something. So that's why he was paying everybody's salaries as opposed to just saying, here, have $50,000.
Right.
You couldn't waste it by purchasing and destroying whatever it was that you purchased. And then he couldn't tell anybody. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else.
But then he had to be out of money.
And by the very end, he can't own anything except the clothes he was wearing when they brought him in.
So you just buy things and then give the things away, right?
So that's why everything was rented. You know, that's why all of when he had the room built for himself, the furniture was rented, everything was rented, his clothes were all rented. You know.
Yeah.
So everything, I think he made sure that everything, that was where, and I think that at the onset, the rules were kind of complicated enough that in the back of my mind, I even added another rule that wasn't even there. And it took me a little while to realize that was a rule I had added in my own head was in my mind, I'm going, okay, so he's got $30 million and he has to spend exactly $1 million each day for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't one of the rules. It was just, he's got $30 million and he has to spend it all by the end of 30 days. So in my own mind, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I feel like he's spent more than $1 million today. Like, how does that jive with and then I realized like a third of the way through the movie, I'm like, no. He has the lump sum of 30 million and he just has to get rid of that by the time a month is up. So I will admit too, like the layering on of the rules was maybe a little bit more complicated. Might have helped a little bit to do like, I don't know, Gremlin style and just do 3 of them.
Yeah, it's and I get it that it was intentionally confusing, but like I said, that kind of took me out because I'm like, okay, wait a minute, go back to the first rule. What again?
Yeah.
So, and then there was something that he was getting the $60,000 retainer. So that I don't know that they explain that either. And I'm starting backwards. I love the movie and I'm starting with the things that kind of took me out of it a little bit, but which is kind of backwards. But remember when it was like, he got all bummed, they lost the game. And he's like, well, I got 28,000 left. So I'm going to throw a party. And the guy's like, no. You have 60,000 because of the retainer or whatever that we paid you.
It was furniture or something, wasn't it?
Was that it? Well, and then he never accounted.
They returned it or something.
It was, so the 60,000. So this is how this kind of all worked out. was he spotted the thing about the guys running for mayor, and the person on the news mentioned how expensive it was to run for political office. And he's like, oh, well, I can run for political office and then just tell people not to vote for me. And then that'll be cool. So then and I love that part too, which is so very timely, that he has the none of the above campaign.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And so his intention is, I'm not going to win this election because I'm not telling anybody to vote for me. I'm telling people to write in none of the above. So I won't win, because if I do win, then, and I get the mayor job pays $60,000 a year. And then and if I do that, then obviously I've got $60,000 that I need to, I can't have that. I can't have any assets. I can't have any money. So I can't win the mayorship. So that was the $60,000 piece, because he was starting to win the campaign. Like he was going to win until he announced at that baseball game that he was dropping out of the race. The $20,000 was a deposit for the furniture rental.
Okay.
And that's where the other attorneys kind of used the, I'm blanking out on the guy's name. What was the guy's name? The one from Star Trek.
Stephen
Collins. What was Warren?
Yes.
Warren was his name.
Warren.
Yeah. So yeah, they kind of used Warren as their little gopher to take this money and then go get a refund for returning the furniture and holding on to that money and not really dropping the receipt back off to Angela, as was supposed to be done. And so the idea was he was just supposed to hold on to that $20,000 until the very last minute and then be like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to hand this to you earlier. You got 3 minutes left to go until midnight. Here's $20,000.
Got it.
And the idea being he wouldn't have enough time to go spend that.
Got it.
So that was kind of the thought behind, like, that 60,000 was the salary he would have gotten if he had taken on the mayor job, and then the 20,000 was related to that furniture refund.
Got it. Understood.
So yeah, I mean, just a fun movie. I mean, after they had the game with the Yankees, and that was a fun one too. I mean, just to watch his minor league team play with the Yankees, and that was part of the. I don't know that I expected in this movie some of the more heartwarming moments that came with this. That whole scene of him, because he had kind of been all about himself early on in the movie, and then when he has this, he has his team playing the Yankees, you do kind of get the sense that, well, he might be doing this partly for himself, because obviously then he's going to be the pitcher, and he's disappointed when he gets pulled out of the game. But at the same time, kind of the pep talk that he gives the other players at the beginning is like, you guys are better than you think you are.
Yeah.
So we're playing the Yankees, big deal. He points out a couple of the different players on the Hackensack Bulls, and he's like, you're really good at this. You're great. This is your one chance. Like, if you don't, you'll never get a chance ever again to have an opportunity like this, to play somebody like the Yankees, even though it's a 3-inning exhibition game. People are watching this game. Take advantage of this. Play the best you can play. Let people see what you can do. And, given the kind of comedy that this was, I don't know that I expected some of those kind of heartwarming moments to be in it, to a degree, but I just thought it was kind of like, it was a nice kind of uplifting piece in the midst of all the other kind of wackiness. So here's a question for you before we kind of wrap up and get to like the final scenes of the movie. I did want to ask you guys this one. The whole point of his great uncle, Rupert, setting this up for him was he wanted him to understand the value of money by hating the idea of spending money.
Right.
Like, do you think that's effective? Now, obviously his great uncle probably had some, how do I want to put this? Personality issues anyway. He seemed like an interesting character. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
As my grandfather used to say, he's quite a character.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think that would be an effective way of doing it? Like, in order to value money, do you have to hate spending it?
Yeah, I that seemed a little contrived. You know, I don't think that's like smoking a whole thing of cigars, you know, and getting sick to your stomach. I think there would be other more effective ways of showing the whole like money doesn't buy happiness type deal. But that being said, I think this really worked for the movie because you had all this kind of outlandish fun and, you know, doing all the crazy stuff, and Richard Pryor could be Richard Pryor and John Candy could be John Candy. And, you know, I think it was a good vehicle for the plot of this movie. But if we're looking at it as a morality tale, it seemed a little contrived. You know, I mean, especially because it was like someone else's money. You couldn't tell anyone. And you know, that didn't seem like much of a challenge. Okay, the biggest thing was you got to be ready to outthink these guys because they're going to trip you up at any step. You know, I mean, give me $30 million. Okay, let me see. I've got a short list of 6 cars that I would go out and buy. 30 million would be gone in.
Car's an asset, though.
Pardon me? I thought
car would be an asset.
Is that an asset? I thought that was a consumable.
I think a car would be an asset, but I'm not sure. I'm just because I thought the same thing, but I was like, I don't know if I could do that.
What happens if you got a car and rented a racetrack and a driver to teach you how to drive it or something? I don't know. So then, so you'd want clarification. I don't know. I think if we were going to be more serious, I think it would be you just won the lotto and we're going to put your name out there and splash your name around. And now you've got to like have all the people that are like, oh, are you going to split the money up? How are you going to do that? Are you going to give it to family? What about close friends? Hey, Pat, you know, I could really use $100, you know, like, and then having to deal with that. I think that would be a stronger tale, you know, like and I don't know if it's urban legend, but you know, it's the person that wins the lotto and then it's just like, boy, this just wasn't worth it. Their life is changed for the worse. I don't know if it's a common occurrence or if it happened once and now it's become urban legend. But you know, you get all those folks that win the lotto and then suddenly people are coming out of the woodwork and, oh, well, how come you gave them this much, but you didn't help us out? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that would be more powerful. That's the thing that is like, oh, geez, how am I going to handle this? But this, it's like, well, you got to keep it secret. I mean, he didn't even really have to go. He went Hollywood with it in the story, which again worked because, I mean, that's what, you know, to play to the strengths of John Candy and Richard Pryor and to have a movie. But, you know, I think he would have been much more successful. It would have been easier if he would have just kept it on the DL and just spent the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in answer to your question, John, I don't think anyone will be so sick of money that it's just like, okay, that's it, because it's all like a game, you know? So it's like,
and once you have that much, he was trying to lose it all and he kept making money because once you have that much money just keeps making more money.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think if we were going serious, I think I would like to see something where, okay, now you're a millionaire and everyone knows it. And how do you navigate your friendships and keep the same normalcy in your life and so forth? Yeah. I think that would be my long-winded answer to your question.
Well, and I think the thing that makes that line of reasoning or logic not work for me. I mean, the movie works for me. It was a hilarious movie. I really enjoyed it. You know, I think it was, like you guys have said, it's a perfect combination of Richard Pryor and John Candy and just the whole situation and the antics and the franticness and everything else. I think the logic that doesn't necessarily work for me is his uncle wants to teach him a lesson by teaching him the value of money and how to not be a selfish, washed-up athlete that his uncle assumes that he is. But kind of from the get-go, he's being kind of selfless about a lot of the ways he's spending this money. And I don't know if that's his personality. That was maybe what wasn't very clear to me. And I don't know if that's the writing, if that's the directing, acting on Richard Pryor's part, is I had a hard time telling if he was just a genuinely nice guy And he was innocently, spending this money in whatever way he could think of. And the first thing he could think of was, let me pay these people that wouldn't normally get paid this much, or let me donate this to charity. This sounds like a great idea. This guy's a hard worker. Let me pay this guy for that. I mean, it sounded genuinely nice. So when those are the first natural, like off the cuff decisions he's making about spending his money, why does he need to be sent through the ringer to understand how to not be selfish with his money? If that makes sense. Like that was the one piece that kind of threw me a little bit. I'm like, he already seems like he has a pretty selfless attitude. I mean, sure, he's going to throw a party and, rent out a nightclub for the weekend and a hotel for the month and stuff like that because he has to. I mean, he's got to spend a ridiculous amount of money, but some of the other things he's doing are actually pretty helpful and charitable. And
right.
So I'm not sure he's got a ton of a lesson to learn there. But yeah. So anyway, we get down kind of to the end of this whole thing. And again, he can't tell anybody any of this. So, he's completely fed up with money. He can't seem to get rid of the money because then people start collecting money because they think he's penniless now. And so it's kind of a struggle for him to do it. Angela's upset with him. Spike is upset with him. They don't understand why he's doing all this. And all of a sudden he gets to the very last day and he's having to give everything up. Like he has to give all the clothes back. He's got to give the hotel room back, the room and the furniture that was designed for him. And, he's withdrawn from the election. The city did vote for none of the above. So obviously they're going to have another election, but, and then he heads to the law firm. And that's where they have kind of the whole setup of they had set aside this $20,000 to hand him at the last moment so that he would not have enough time to be able to spend that in some way that was useful, that would follow the rules. Angela finds out about it and she kind of rushes in to, break up this whole deal. And with moments left, with probably less than a second left, he realizes he's got this $20,000 that's been handed to him. He wants to retain her as his legal counsel. And so she writes up the fastest receipt ever for him and hands it off with probably a split second left to go. He has spent his $20,000 and he now is the happy recipient of $300 million and has succeeded in this whole game. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the end of the movie. The one thing I wanted to go back to, I did find this on IMDb. I've got a couple of fun trivia things about this movie, but one of the ones in particular, somebody on IMDb has written out when she is tabulating his expense report, the list of things that he has bought to spend $30 million. Okay, we ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, this is the list of what he spent. A security guard, $1.16 million. Beer and wine, $2.1 million. 400 pounds of New York dirt for a pitcher's mound, $7,000. A Rupert Horn commemorative statue valued at $210,000. Nightclub rental, $610,000. A furniture deposit that Warren Cox withholds from Monty until the end, $20,000. An iceberg, $1 million for search and retrieval. A rare biplane stamp, $1.25 million, plus $1 for the postcard. He mails to Granville and Baxter. Exercise videotapes, $3,000. That's a lot of exercise videotapes for $3,000.
A little excessive.
That's a lot. That may be more Billy Blanks than anybody needs. That's a lot of Tybo. Dental
Excessive.
care. It's a little bit excessive. Dental care for baseball team, presumably the Hackensack Bulls, $31,400. Tailored new Bulls uniforms, $27,000. 27 lifetime health spa memberships, again, presumably for the Bulls, valued at $970,000. Office rental for his campaign, $1,600. Campaign worker salaries, $3 million. A separate salary for his campaign manager, $450,000 for 1 week. Renting a Rolls Royce during his campaign, $1,800 for 1 week. A none of the above paint job for the Rolls Royce, $6,000. And restoring the car back to its original paint color, $12,000.
Wow. There you go.
That is how you spend $30 million.
There it is, broken down. broken down.
Plus, give or take the $10,000 he won gambling on the horse races and everything else.
Right.
Yeah. So, one of the other fun things I saw in here, fun little fact here, and then we can jump into our 3 questions for this one. Where to go? I want to pull it up here. Oh, yeah. So the executor of the will in Brewster's Millions, the 1945 version, was played by Neil Hamilton, who played Commissioner Gordon in the old Batman TV show from the 60s.
Okay. And then this one.
And in this one, Pat Hingle, who played Commissioner Gordon in Batman 1989 and some of the other subsequent Batman movies, played the executor of the will in this Brewster's Millions.
That's cool.
So that was kind of fun.
I knew I recognized him, and it was not coming to me, and I forgot to go back and look it up. That's cool.
Yeah.
And the guy that, and this isn't even a fun fact, but it was fun to see. Well, that was kind of redundant. Not so much. The guy, bottom line, the guy that played the guy that was following him around, right? The guy that took him to the bank office or whatever, like early on in the movie.
Yeah.
He was the snitch in Naked He was the snitch on the docks.
Yes.
That Leslie Nielsen kept giving the money, and then he bribed Leslie Nielsen to tell him what was going on. And I don't know what else that guy has been in, but he'll always be, for me, he'll be the Naked Gun doc guy.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Do we have anything else we want to say about this one before we jump into our 3 questions?
So fun. Like,
yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And probably one of the very rare Richard Pryor performances that you could watch with a bunch of ages.
Right.
I'm almost reminded, it's a completely different movie, completely everything. But I'm almost reminded of Spies Like Us. And we talked about the movie Spies Like Us, and it was like, yeah, plot-wise, it was kind of whatever. But it was basically a vehicle for Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase and, doctor, like all that.
Doctors.
This is just a vehicle for Richard Pryor and John Candy. It's just enough to get them on screen, and it's just so entertaining. And it's funny because you look at the movie scores, which I think are unfortunate and too low, but you watch other movies like that and you kind of wince, and it's like, but with these comedies, with these like titans of entertainment, the movies work because of them. They're carrying the movie. They make it entertaining to watch, because you like watching them. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's the kind of vehicle you can run into and be perfectly fine until you find out that it's Monty, and suddenly you have a headache, and maybe you're paralyzed, and you're going to be affected for the rest of your life. And
here, let's settle out of court.
200,
yeah, put that away.
200,000. I have 2 ex-wives. He has 2 ex-wives. How about 300,000?
Yep.
Now that's a vehicle.
Yes.
All right. It's time for 3 questions.
He asks each traveler 5 questions. 3 questions. 3 questions.
It's impossible to answer.
Impossible because you don't know the answer.
Nobody could answer that question.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
3 questions. Question number 1. Would you have taken the guaranteed $1 million or tried for the $300 million?
$300 million.
Okay.
I can spend that money. I know I can.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What are the rules? Like, explain those rules fully towards me, you know, so we're not like, well, is this and that? And then, like I said, I got 5 cars right now on a short list that would easily burn through that in a day. And if not, then it's, and you got, well, then, okay, I'm going to buy a plane, buy an airport, and buy someone to teach me to fly for the next month. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. I'd go for the 300 million. I mean, you start off with, I mean, he's got some of the resources right there. He's got somebody to like track his expenses for him and, to help manage some of the money. And I think, this is a comedy movie, but, in real life, I think you could probably, if you paid somebody enough money, all you'd have to say is, I'm going to pay you to help me manage my money. And I'm going to pay you this much. And at the end of this particular period, I forget if that was specified in the rules or not. At the end of this particular period of time, I am going to give away all my money, and I'm paying you to not ask me questions about it.
Right. That's the other thing. He's got so much money, and everyone's free. Like, definitely some suspension of disbelief with some of it. But.
Yeah. But as you do in a comedy movie, that's.
Oh, totally. It was fine. I'm not complaining.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I would definitely go for the, like you said, like I can spend that money. I've never had $30 million before, but I get the feeling I could probably do okay.
Yes.
I have a few things in mind. Australia. Okay. That's a different Superman movie. All right. Question number 2, favorite sports stadium you've been to? Let me open it up this way. I asked this question because of the fun baseball stadium with the train tracks going through the middle of it. Let me open it up this way. Pat, maybe this opens up a few other options for you. Let me say, instead of favorite sports stadium you've been to, favorite sporting venue you've been to.
So you're opening up racetracks for me.
I did. Don't ever say I never did anything for you. What's your favorite of all the ones you've been to?
Probably Road America up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. I mean, that's a great track. Now I'm just going to go list all the awesome racetracks I've been to, which is unfair. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is great. And I suppose for football, I'd say, Soldier Field. I went down and saw a game number of years way back in the day. And that was really cool. So that's been nice. I still want to get up to Lambeau Field in Green Bay and see a game. I've heard that's a pretty cool experience. Now I'm just rambling. So anyways, bringing it all back, I would say Road America, Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. That's the place. That's the place to be.
What about you, Bodacious?
I love Wrigley Field.
Nice.
It is a special, special place. And I think, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, that was my initial thought too, was Wrigley. Because it's not the fanciest stadium. It's frankly, you still pee in troughs, when you go to the bathroom. But
you like it, damn it.
And you like it. That's how I did it. That's how my father did it. That's how, we had to warn John of that the first time my sister took him to his first Cubs game a couple years ago. He had not been to Wrigley before. And so we warned him about that. We're like, okay, if you need to go to the bathroom, just going to give you a quick heads up. There are troughs. What?
Troughs.
There are troughs. And then he laughed at me like he thought I was kidding. And the first
thing, they always think you're kidding.
They thought I was a joke. The first thing he said to me when he got back home after the Cubs game, you weren't kidding. They had troughs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they do. Of course, I wouldn't lie about a urine trough.
Right.
Okay.
It's funny because in some of the rehabbed bathrooms, they don't have them. And it's sort of weird. You walk in, you're like, what the hell is this?
What just happened here? What just happened?
Who said you could change that?
No, at the very least, we need like a 21st century self-flushing trough.
Right.
We need a smart trough is what we need. I don't know what's involved with that, but
when you get the splatter from the guy standing next to you, you'll know.
You'll know.
Mm-hmm.
You're using a trough.
There's an app for that. Yeah, I mean, just the history of Wrigley and it's such a fun stadium to go to for games. But Bo, since you took that one, I'm trying to think if there's another one I can throw in here. I will say, and I know particularly, some of the folks that may be listening to our members only podcast here. But some of the other friends that we have that are from Oklahoma, they're not going to be a big fan of this one. I'm going to say Darrell K. Royal Stadium in Austin, Texas for the Texas Longhorns. That was such a fun place to go see a football game. In my family, my dad went to school there. We've gone to several games there. It's such a fun place to go see a game. It's a madhouse. It's just, there's burnt orange everywhere and it's beautiful. The only other spot, I mean, as a kid, I loved to go the few times we went to a Cowboys game. I loved going to that. I had really fond memories of going to the Dallas Mavericks games as a kid. The one that kind of surprised me, we went back, was it last year, 2 years ago now? When we went back down to Texas and I took my kids to the Mesquite Rodeo. And I felt like I grew up going there like multiple times a year as a kid. And it seemed so huge as a kid. And we went back this time and I was like, well, it doesn't look any different. Like I still remember it. Like I still remember how all this looks, but I remember this place being huge.
Yeah.
This place is not huge. So that was kind of a funny one. It was like, I used to love going, like it was one of my favorite things for us to go do was to go to the rodeo. And when I took my own kids, it was still a lot of fun. But I was just like, I remember this place being a lot bigger.
Yes.
So
that's funny.
It blew my mind just a little bit. But no, my knee jerk, my first reaction was Wrigley. And I think that would be the one I'd have to go with.
Cool.
All right. Final question. If you were going to hire someone famous to be your bodyguard or member of your entourage, who would it be?
Well, Samuel L. Jackson. Is that on the table?
Sure.
There it is.
Yeah.
Good call, Bo. Good call.
Pay him from the money you pull out of your wallet that says bad.
You read my mind, sir.
Mm-hmm. First of all, I'm going to spend $50,000 to get that wallet.
Right. A couple million just to have Samuel L. Jackson hang out with you.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect.
Just to record my my cell phone voicemail message and maybe answer the phone for me.
Oh, yes.
No, I'm saying if I do that,
English, do you speak?
Press 1 for English. Do you speak it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Press 2 for Espanol. Dos. Press dos for Espanol.
Dos for Espanol.
Or Morgan Freeman. That'd be the other one.
Yes. It kind of depends on how you want to go with your entourage. You know?
Right.
Totally different ways to go.
It's not Morgan Freeman as a bodyguard.
Right.
Unless you want to like talk your way out of situations.
Which,
Now, do you really want to pick a fight?
Is that what your mother would?
The majestic penguin. No. Sean Connery. There you go. You could have him narrate stuff and he could be your bodyguard.
There you go.
I feel like even though he's a little bit older, he could still throw down.
Oh yeah. I think you underestimate Sean Connery at your own peril.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
I think I just want Sean Connery to ask me questions about what we're going to do today.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So are we going to McDonald's or Burger King today? Oh, only the best for you, Sean. We're going to Wendy's.
Don't worry. We'll let you get this supersize.
I don't know if it was a bodyguard. I was trying to think about this. Somebody famous as a bodyguard. I don't know. I might go The Rock.
I was just, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta go with The Rock. I bet.
I mean, because I feel like you could hang out with him. Like he's charming. You could have a conversation with him, but he also looks like he could snap most people in half.
Right. And even if even if he is like at heart like a super soft guy,
yeah, gentle giant.
No one's gonna mess with you to begin with.
No.
Just look at the man.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Walking Tall. I know what he can do with a 2x4.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's mine. I gotta go, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I think you hit it there. Yeah.
Yeah. Good call. Good call. Is it, now? Are you picking someone on the payroll and a bodyguard, or someone on the payroll? It can be a bodyguard, but not necessarily.
For just this situation, you're just picking one person.
Okay. Does it have to be a bodyguard?
No, that's as part of the question. That's why I said bodyguard or entourage. So it doesn't have to be a bodyguard, but
I would get a chef. I would get someone that comes, picks up the food, comes over to the house, and then like teaches me to cook.
Okay.
And make meals and all that kind of stuff. But then also can make them. And that's hard to boil it all that because, it's sort of like,
So you're saying Rachel Ray?
Yeah, maybe not. No, I'm not saying that necessarily. No. And the hard part is because there's so many different kinds of chefs.
Well, exactly.
So I mean, but since this is a fantasy thing and it's 11:30 at night, I would just say I would want, someone sort of like, did you see the new Thomas Crown Affair with Pierce Brosnan?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how he had the guy that was like the chef that came over to his place and they'd cook and all that? Yeah, I'd want someone like that.
Well, see, I was going to ask for some clarification. Can Monica Bellucci cook?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. I mean,
she can cook for Pat. Whether she can cook or not, it's not really what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Can you specify? Yeah. So,
I mean, okay. So, Pat, I know you'll get this because you've watched the Flash TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Does it really matter? Like, is she like a cook the way Iris is a cook in the TV show?
Nice. Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I really loved that banana you made for me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey now.
That is outstanding. No, but in all seriousness, I would get someone that would be like a chef, pick up the food, come over, we'd sit down, set the menu, what we're making, and just learn how to cook different dishes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Also, do you guys remember Jason's Deli?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You remember the salad bar at Jason's Deli?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They would also be. I would have that in my house, and they would be responsible for, maintaining that. But no food would go to waste. Like if it looks like it was going to waste, it'd have to be like, passed out to people that are hungry. We'd have to figure that out.
Pat, I get the feeling if you had a salad bar at your disposal, it would not go to waste.
That's what I'm thinking.
It would not. That's sort of like the rules of the game. It's kind of designed to.
I'm just if you had this much money and you had a Jason's Deli style salad bar in your house, I'm just kind of picturing you standing there with your party pal in your hand and just grazing all day.
I think so. So we'd have to figure it out. You know what? Maybe that's it. You know what? That makes the most sense. So we'd have the salad bar weekdays for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then on weekends, the guy maintaining the salad bar or the gal maintaining the salad bar. Then weekends, that's where, for the weekend, here are the meals that we're making. I think that would be the plan. This is being worked out in person.
I just want to point it out that the question was about a bodyguard or member of the entourage, and Pat went immediately to food.
Darn tootin', I went to food.
Who would you hire as someone famous to be your bodyguard or entourage? Now, see, what I would have is I'd have a salad bar, and there would be like 3 different types of salad and all the toppings and those little ham chunks that they put in the salad bar too, with like and then there's the chocolate pudding with like the apples and
There it is, man. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Like once again, we become the 30-something food podcast.
Yeah, well, if you've ever had the Jason's Deli salad bar, that's pretty fantastic.
Oh, I'm not knocking it. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, friends, I think that's going to do it for Brewster's Millions. So our first Patreon exclusive podcast episode. Thank you for those of you that are, supporting the show. You've become co-executive producers with us here on the show. We were so glad that we are able to do this for you and have you here along with us for the ride. Feel free, reach out, send us a voicemail either through the website or we've still got the voicemail phone number. It's 872-356-6843. Or if you go to our website, there is right there on each of the different pages, there is a little microphone icon that shows up, I think like in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. If you just tap on that, either on your smartphone or on your computer, you can record up to 2 minutes of a message there that goes directly to us, and then we can play that on one of the next episodes. As I said earlier, we're going to be doing these members-only exclusive episodes once a month, so you'll have access to those. And I'm sure on down the line, we'll be doing all kinds of other exclusive stuff as well, so just be on the lookout for those. Next month, our episode for the members-only episode of the podcast is going to be Empire Strikes Back for the 40th anniversary. I am looking forward to the Bo. All I can think of right now is when you and I went to go see the special editions.
Yes.
And in particular, Empire Strikes Back, and we treated it like it was our own personal Mystery Science Theater.
It was a thing of beauty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody else was in the theater. I'm sure they wanted us to shut up if they were, but it was a lot of fun. That was back when we still had what was the name of the theater? It was Showplace 8.
Showplace 8.
And tickets were $1.50.
We sat in the back row.
Mm-hmm.
It was either late or early. I can't remember which.
Or both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Showplace 8, that was the cat's patut there for a while. Because remember before that, you're talking about the one over in Vernon Hills?
Yeah.
Because that one kind of, remember Cineplex Odeon was almost right across the street in that mall, right next to what used to be the Best Buy. That Cineplex Odeon was the...
I loved that theater because they had built it with, at least this is the story I got from the people that worked there. They had built it with too small of a popcorn hopper.
Nice.
So they had to keep making it. So you were getting relatively fresh popcorn all the time.
That's awesome.
That was so good.
That's good stuff.
River Tree? That was River Tree because it was Ridge and River Tree. And then that one really kind of went down. They let that one go and Showplace 8 was, and then they opened AMC and then Showplace 8 kind of became a little, And
I wish they have done nothing else with that building over there. And I wish they would bring it back not right now, but I wish they'd bring back like a second run, inexpensive movie ticket theater. Because when we had that theater, and I remember especially like the summer times in particular, but the summer after high school, I cannot even tell you how many times I went to go see a movie there because the tickets were at that point, I think they were like $2 a piece.
Oh yeah.
And I must have seen that movie theater contributed to the reason why I saw Star Wars Episode 1 45 times in the movie theater.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because it only cost me $2.
Yeah.
40. Yeah. You saw Jar Jar Binks 45 times.
I did from the very first moment it came out in the theaters until it left the last second run theater I saw it at in Champaign, Illinois, like 3 weeks before it came out on VHS tape. I saw that movie 45 times in the theater.
There it is.
Wow.
Eau Claire, Wisconsin. They had a
Misa Love and Punishment.
Oh.
I hope pain is something that you enjoy.
Misa hoping pain is something you enjoy.
Eau Claire had a second run theater, and it was like an old. It wasn't like a new building, if I remember right. It was like an old school theater, right? And it kind of got a little rundown, and they just sometime well before I came on the scene converted it to the second run theater. But yeah, that was great. Between $1 and $2 for tickets.
Yeah.
That'd be the way to do it, man. Open up a theater like that, give, like you said, with the Alamo draft houses, give people a reason to go. Like, seriously, I mean, I'd be like, dude, put a salad bar in the back of the theater, right? Just get the Jason's Deli salad bar and set that sucker up there.
There you go.
And then you could like go up and just be like, load up the food.
I'm not going to explain why, but I want Chris Rock managing the salad bar.
There it is.
I'm not going to explain that any further, but
we're going to leave it there.
We're going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 30-something movie podcast after dark.
If you're in the know, you're in the know.
No, if I had $300 million, that is absolutely what I would do. I would open up like a second run movie theater. I'd make the tickets cheap. I would completely and fully understand that I'd be losing money every year that place was open. But I'd bring in old movies. I'd bring in like little second run movies. You know, I'd make the concessions not ridiculously expensive. That's the one thing. And we've said this before on the show. Like I love movie theaters, and I'm really hoping that they don't completely disappear because of all the things that are going on in the world. And I'm worried that a lot of them will. So if I was ridiculously wealthy and I had more than enough money, I'd do plenty of other stuff to, donate and give some of it away and all that. But that would be one of the things I would do is I would run a little, just a handful of screens movie theater and make it affordable.
I would set it up so that when I fall asleep, there's a blanket I could put over myself and they stop the movie. And then when I wake back, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Or overnight parking at the drive-in. That would be awesome.
So what are you going to do when the motor runs out on that blanket device during the first movie? Because it's had to cover you up so many times.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Maybe just in the blanket. Everyone gets a blanket, gets all tucked in.
It was one of those real short, like 90-minute comedies, but I don't know, Pat fell asleep like 60 times.
Man, I'll tell you, the record is one night it was up in school, it was up in Eau Claire. And I forget what the heck we were watching, but we all went over to the guy's house. He's like, yeah, we made dinner and everything. We had the movie. It was back in the day. We went to Blockbuster, scanned around. Okay, we got this. I remember the opening, TriStar Pictures or Beacon Films, maybe that was Morgan Creek, whatever. And it was
No, that's TriStar with the Pegasus.
Okay, and then the next thing I remember is my buddy shaking me awake, going, "Dude, do you want to walk home, or are you just going to sleep on the couch tonight?" I'm just going to sleep on the couch. And he goes, "Okay, I'll see you in the morning." He goes off to bed. Like I got through the opening TriStar Picture thing.
That's awesome.
No, I didn't. I didn't hear the end of that. I don't even remember the initial credit. I don't even remember what the movie was.
That's too awesome.
I don't remember the last two notes of the TriStar theme.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's like my mom. She's never seen the end of Casablanca for all the number of times she's watched it.
Yep.
For all she knows, nobody gets on the plane.
Yep.
Yeah, she's never finished. Same person, and I'm kind of picking on her because I know she won't be listening to this. When the Star Wars movies came back out in the theaters, the special editions, when the first one came out, I didn't have a driver's license yet. So I made her drive me over to Showplace 8 to go see it when we had the $1.50 tickets. And she's like, well, I'll just come in and watch the movie with you. And, as a good Star Wars fan, I didn't care that I was a teenager and my mom was going to a movie with me. Right. I get to go see Star Wars. I don't care. So she came with me and we got there a little bit late. So we ended up having to sit up in the front. So we were up on the front left-hand side, right in front of the speakers. And this woman fell asleep right before the Death Star trench run.
Oh,
and she slept through the entire thing.
Oh my.
I'm like, that either takes skill or I don't know what.
That's pretty awesome.
Strong in the force she was.
Yeah.
When it came to sleeping through a movie.
Yes.
Well. All right. Well, that was a bit of a tangent, but it was kind of a fun tangent.
Yeah.
But so thank you all. Thank you for everybody who supports our show. We have so much fun just talking movies and interacting with you all on Twitter and Facebook and all these different places where we might be able to reach out and kind of interact with each other. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to shoot us an email, send us a tweet, leave us a voicemail, any of those options. We'd love to hear from you. So, like I said, next month, the next exclusive episode that's coming up will be the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary. Otherwise, our normal podcast episodes in the month of November will be Quigley Down Under, Rescuers Down Under, Men at Work, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out of their shells tour. So that's what we've got coming up here in the next little bit. Bo, Pat, thank you, gentlemen.
John, Bo, thank you guys.
Gentlemen,
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for entertaining me this evening.
It's been a pleasure. I'm going to go make myself a salad now.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go. I see I don't have any ham. I got to chop up those little ham cubes that they have at the.
It's all about the ham cubes.
It's all about the ham cubes.
I'll tell you.
If we didn't already have like 3 band names picked out, I think ham cubes might not be a bad one.
Ham cubes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Oh, the ham cubes. That's not a bad one. All right, I'll think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could be my solo project. Maybe I'll do our other one that we were going to do, and my solo project can be John Reed and the Ham Cubes.
Hey, man, the Grateful Dead, the Jerry Garcia band. You know, that was the thing.
Yeah. I'm liking it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
The ham cubes and the hard-boiled. Now I just want a salad. So I think we got to go because it's late at night and I'm really hungry now.
Yeah, I'm not making a whole salad, but I think I'm gonna chop some veggies and find some hummus.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Once again, thank you all for being here with us. We look forward to seeing you back here next time for our next slate of movies. In the meantime, be excellent to each other. Go watch some good movies, and we will see you back here next time.